We're talking to Councilman Walter Hunt from District 3. And of course, Councilman Hunt, before we had our second commercial break, you were telling us about some of the activities in the Metropolitan Council, and specifically we left off, I think, with the possibility of a ballpark coming to Nashville. Let's pick up at that point.
Okay, Nashville is really busy and it's buzzing. I think it's going in a great direction. We've had some good leadership over the past several years. Not only are we looking to get a ballpark, we're looking to get a new convention center at the tune of about $455 million or dollars. We're looking at a new Westin hotel coming down on Broad Street. And so when you look at all of that type of building, you're talking about a lot of money. And one of the things I've been concerned about, and they have satisfied the council, that this would not be a burden on the taxpayer.
Good, very good.
And because I think the constituents, the citizens of Davidson County, just about had all the taxes that they can stand. So they have agreed that all of these venues would be funded by private sources. Like the ballpark, they had several banks to step up and say, well, we're going to support, invest some money in it, and so they're coming up with their own financing. As I said before, the city will probably put in just a little bit just for the maintenance of it. Then you got the convention center coming in, because we are saying that the current convention center on Commerce is just too small, and we can't compete with cities like Orlando and Florida and big cities like that, and you lose a lot of money coming to cities if you don't have a place where they can hold large conferences, because these conferences are getting larger and larger, and they have to have the space. If you don't have the space, they won't come. They're going to go to one that's much larger. So for that reason, they decided that, well, we need another convention center. That's going to be at the tune of about $455 million. They got a lot of the business community are supporting it. At the same time they're doing that, Opryland is expanding their convention center. So when you expand both Opryland and our current convention center, it is said that that would put Nashville in the top 3. So that means in terms of holding large conventions.
There's a lot of activity created.
Yeah, a lot of
number 3.
And they bring in a lot of money. It's like the hotel that they're going in on Broad Street at Lower Broad. That's supposed to bring in somewhere around $2 million in taxes each year. So, I mean, we're talking about a lot of money, but we're talking about some large venues as well. So I think that if we get all that in, which I don't see any reason why we should not, then Nashville's going to be okay. Nashville's going to be right at the top. Because they're looking at Nashville as one of the fastest growing cities in the South anyway. Because, see, Nashville sits on 3 major interstates, and it is said that Nashville connects with 2/3 of the nation.
Just come through here, one way or the other.
Coming from the north to the south, generally you're going to come through Nashville. So that's been a plus.
You know, one of the last things I guess we can perhaps talk about over the last 5 or 6 minutes is some of the problems that you see in the various communities in Nashville. I think one of the problems that everybody will admit is that there's an increased enrollment in all of the schools and whatnot. What are some of the things, some of the possibilities that you see, and some of the things that they're saying about education in the Metropolitan Council now?
Well, in the Metropolitan Council, we want to try to put our education system, make it one of the tops in the nation. I don't know whether pouring more money into it would make it better, or restructuring it or what, but I know they got a lot of support. I support the Metro Nashville public school system because I think it is a good one. It's a large one. We're talking about 75,000 school kids, so that's a large population. And I think right now we're spending a little over $9,000 per student. And that is, when I looked at that number, it was kind of startling comparing to where it was when I was in school.
Or when I was in school,
Yeah.
yes.
And so what we're saying is, with all that money, we ought to have we ought to have a great, not a good, but a great education system. So I think the council's behind the governor, the mayor, and the Board of Education to try to make our system the best that we can make it. We do have a lot of preschool programs now. We're going to get more of those. And I tell anybody, if they want to get in contact with Walter Hunt real quick, got a problem, just hit me up at www.nationaldistrict3.com.
And that's got, that covers you. That's got the whole thing covered in reference to what you're doing and how they might be able to
Absolutely.
get in touch with you.
Ask me a question, see what's going on in the 3rd District. If you got any question about the city, they can put that question in there as well, and they'll get a response back immediately.
You know, in looking over the long range of opportunities that are available, I think that you worked with the Metropolitan Action Commission for a long time, and we find that we still have a large problem with many of our young people, our youth. You see, there's a lot of violence and a lot of some people say a lot of gang activities and et cetera. What is the council's attitude in reference to something to do with our youth?
That's almost a whole new show. I have my own thoughts about that. I also taught school in the middle school for a year before I got elected to the council. And being a psychotherapist student, I'm looking at some of the attitudes and some of the problems that we're experiencing with in the middle schools, and I don't think we've gotten to the point that we can address the problems that those kids are having in the middle school. And when they go undressed or unnoticed, they take them right on into high school, and then they don't finish high school, and then we got that other element out there because nobody's recognizing this person's got a problem, and I don't care who we are. If we got a problem, that person's going to need help. You can't ignore it, because if you ignore it today, you're still going to have to deal with it next year. Whether it's going to be in jail or whether it's going to be some kind of problem, it's still got to be dealt with. We do not have the facilities in the public school that will give kids psychiatric counseling. Not guidance counselors, that's a different discipline. We need somebody in the school system that can understand the problem that the kids are having or what they're thinking, so that we can give them some people call it attitude adjustment, but it's more than attitude adjustment. It's a real way of thinking that fits with what the school system are trying to teach, as opposed to what they think the school is trying to teach.
And in a real sense fits into what life is all about, because no matter what their situation is, once they get out into the real life, they're going to have to live by the rules and the regulations of the
they won't be able to, because right now a lot of them are not able to adjust and follow directions in school. So how would they be able to follow direction in real life when the school is teaching real life?
Well, now, do you think that, a lot of folks say that it all starts at home. What would you say in reference to that?
I agree with you. It started at home, but see, like anything else, we've let it go so long. Now it's like herding cats, because you got 2 or 3 generations of parents sagging and doing the same things that the kids are doing.
And so it's difficult to talk about it starting at home.
That's right.
And you have to cut it off here in the school system.
That's right.
That's the public system.
Because what we're seeing in the school system is coming straight from home and the communities in most cases. And so what you got is the school system versus the community, and they're not on the same page.
Okay, we've got a minute to go here, Councilman Hunt. Let's give you an opportunity over the last minute we have to sort of speak to your constituents in terms of what you're trying to accomplish dealing with them.
You know, it's so much out there, but I think the immediate needs, and see, I have district-wide meetings in the 3rd District, and one will probably be coming up pretty soon. But one of the things that my constituents tell me, that they want a quality, safe community. And the only way we can get that done is to bring in quality business and have quality homes built that creates a quality community. Right now, we got a shopping center coming in on Dickinson Road, right next to Bradley Parkway, and that's the only shopping center, real shopping center, that will be existing in the 3rd District.
Okay, and of course, let me stop here, Councilman Hunt, and let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.